Hello.
Hello. How are you?
You're fine. We are enjoying the environment today. We're exploring this world, getting familiar with the location. How are you today?
Thank you. You're being videotaped. Do you guys have anything to say to anybody? Well, the people today? Like, is it to start off?
We would rather answer your questions,
Okay.
but we are aware of the stress that Dianne felt as she was setting this up. And we know that many might have a similar feeling when they have pictures taken or movies taken of themselves. And then they look at the picture and they almost don't recognize themselves. Dianne has this situation happen to her quite often because she is very familiar with her light body. She is very familiar with the knowledge that her spirit, her soul, her being is not her body. And yet, she is also learning how to maintain her body in the way it needs to be kept up so that we can continue this work into the future. Health is important because the body is a vehicle, and she is in the process of tuning up her vehicle, should we say. We are proud of the work that she has done this year so far, and we would encourage her to continue because we believe that as someone looks at this video now and compares it to one that will be done in a year, they will see a big difference in her appearance. And in 2 years, they would not recognize the person. And we want to let her know that this is not a dream. This is not something that is possibly going to happen. It is something that is in the future, and it is happening as we speak as well. Everyone has the ability to change anything they want about themselves. They just have to start taking steps toward changing a behavior, an attitude. Many people want to change where they work. They want to change who they're with. They want to find a romantic partner. They want to go to school and learn new things. And your bodies were created for this endeavor. They were created to constantly change. From the time a child is conceived and is born, all the way through their life, they change appearance and go through many moments of learning, whether it is through schooling or church or synagogue, any type of spiritual outlet. And then there is also the emotional learning that people go through. There's growth. And then, of course, the physical is the most obvious that everyone sees. It is important to mention this at this time because we feel that the United States in particular has gone through a period of growth, and not the type of growth that most would want. The sizes of people, the weight that has happened is not just the person's fault. It is the environment. It is the food that they are given. It is the portions that companies have changed. It is the lack of exercise, because there are now conveniences such as cars. And instead of talking to a person in person, instead of walking down the street and talking to someone, or climbing the stairs and talking to a child, it is all done by texting or Facebook or emails, or just by telephone or Skype. It is not done in person. And this is what we want everyone to start doing. We want everyone to reconnect with their bodies and reconnect with other people, to get out in nature and walk, and to move, to be more like people were in the past. We feel this is very important. The strength of the physical body needs to be enhanced. There are some that will watch this and say, we are fine, we're in perfect shape. And that's because that person may only be focused on their physical body. But I know that there will be many that may see this and see themselves, or see a child, or see a parent. The important thing to know is that it is not their fault. It is not Dianne's fault that she has put on weight. It is the environment. It is the companies that would give the world food that is high in calories, high in fat, and high in sugar, that is lower in cost than food that is healthy and natural, organic as it is called. We just see it as food that is like it was when she was a teenager, when she was a child, which was not that long ago. And we believe that it is the way people are living now. This needs to change. And one of the reasons we did choose to come and speak through Dianne in this lifetime, she has known on a deep level, on a soul level, on a higher self level, that we were coming since she was born. And part of her putting on this weight was on purpose, so that she could make this transformation back to health in front of everyone, so that this would be part of the work that we were helping her with in balancing her body. Everyone should strive to balance their mind, their body, their spirit. We know that you have some questions today. Thank you for allowing us those moments to speak.
Thank you for saying those. You want to take Diane's first, or mine?
We would prefer yours first.
So I guess talking about my son, he's had some outbursts. Well, one major this last week. It was pretty intense. Now, I felt after he had the major outburst, like a major shift happened. Like it was like, oh my gosh, it was like all past lives, everything, all the frustration just lifted from him. I could be totally wrong.
An awareness occurred within him.
An awareness occurred. Now, my question is, counseling? Or do you think that was like, because he's a really sweet kid, it's not like he has many of these outbursts, but maybe a punching bag?
He has frustration.
Right.
He does need outlets for his energy.
Would a punching bag be a good outlet, or is that a negative outlet?
It can be very good if there is discipline with it. As in a sports team or a martial arts class. Someone who can help him at the beginning to understand how to do what he needs to do with it, how to interact properly so he does not injure himself. And then he will be okay by himself to use it. It will help with some of the frustrations he has. but we do not want him to believe that when he is angry or frustrated, that his only reaction should be physical. We want to make sure that he knows that as in a martial arts, that physically hitting someone is generally the last thing that they will do. He needs to learn control.
Now, is this an ongoing problem? Is this going to be occurring, or is it going to be short-lived?
We believe this is part of his personality. We believe we've talked of him before. He is very smart, and he has many feelings. He has many questions. He has many ideas. This is part of the way the world has become as well. Children are often asked to grow up very quick, instead of being allowed to just be children. And this will not necessarily change. So instead of trying to reverse this situation, the world is moving forward. What he needs is to figure out balance, which is what everyone needs. How to know when to use a punching bag to get out of frustration, and to know when to sit quietly and try to meditate and calm himself that way, or when to walk away from a situation, and when to talk to someone and explain how he's feeling, and to understand the emotions that he's feeling. We do not want him to punch something at every emotion. And we know that he has a tendency to be, we do not want to say OCD, but he has a tendency to want rules. He enjoys them. He enjoys knowing, and most children do, they enjoy knowing when things are going to happen. They enjoy knowing that they cannot behave a certain way, that it isn't accepted. They need to know that they're loved. But it is the discipline that some children need, and they need it because they like it. Other children do not like it and do better without as much discipline, because everyone is an individual. it's important to watch how he reacts to different things. But we feel that he enjoys knowing what's going to happen. He enjoys it when he is aware that if he behaves a certain way, that there will be a consequence if he does something wrong. And if he does something right, there will be a reward. He wants your attention and your husband's attention, which is what most children want. Most people want to just be heard, to be understood. Do you have another question about him?
I think one more. He's gotten into skateboarding and he seems to really like that. He really likes gymnastics.
Yes.
I have him sign up for baseball, but he wants to really change his mind on soccer.
We think he will do better with soccer than baseball.
So I take him out of baseball.
We think that he is very active, and we do not think he will enjoy the moments of sitting. Baseball, it is a wonderful activity, but it is not for everyone. And his temperament does better when he is moving, when he is using up his energy. So at the end of the day, he is tired.
Right. So I know I signed him up for this semester, for this fall. So the best thing I would do is try to get him out of it and put him back into soccer.
And are you also saying that he did enjoy soccer better as well, or he does not want to do baseball?
He wanted to do baseball because I think all of his friends were doing it in the neighborhood, but I don't know if he really wants to do it.
Okay.
Now he's like, I want soccer again because he really likes soccer.
Okay.
So it seems like he wants to go back to soccer really bad. But I told him, why don't we try baseball and see how you like it? Because we already signed up for that.
We think he will not like it.
Okay.
He will enjoy the time spent with friends. He will enjoy talking to them while he is waiting to get up to bat.
Okay.
But it will be more like playtime for him.
And gymnastics and skateboard, should I include that in the week with school? And what would be more beneficial for him? They wanted him on team at gymnastics, but that's 2 hours. That's 2 days, 2 hours a day after school. And I thought that was too much for a 5-year-old.
It does seem like a lot for most people.
And especially for me.
Normally, children would come home after school and go out and play,
Right.
or do homework and go out and play. And the energy would be used. So we understand that there are no longer many children playing in streets, but they are in organized activities. And for some parents, this is okay, but we do not want you to overdo it with him. We want to make sure that he has, and you have, time when you are together, when he can just talk, or you can just sit and relax. and work with his school work.
Okay.
He still needs activity during the week, but not every day.
Well, I could put him in a gymnastics class once a week, and we could have soccer or a skate class once a week, and have soccer.
We believe that this will do well for him.
Soccer and skate or gymnastics.
Skating, we believe he will be very good at this. And the gymnastics we do not see as a permanent endeavor, but it is something that he could explore.
I think that's all for Evan, and then I think I'm going into me and some past lives, if you don't mind with that.
That is fine.
And then I guess dogs, and my dogs and animals after that. And then
We would rather talk about the dogs first.
the dogs first, okay. I know you guys have told me that Tony is one of my spirit guides with dogs. My angels with dogs. Spirit guides. Sorry, Tony. Oh my gosh, I'm so
It
sorry.
is okay. What is your question?
Well, there's a couple things. One, I guess Cody and Sunny Moon Love and Pele. I feel Cody's really getting a connection with me, with spiritually bonding in a huge way. Is there something that I need to know about that?
Like people, animals have multiple lives as well. And often people will plan it so that their lifetime will be spent with a beloved animal. We know that there is at least one in this house as well. There is one that was here before, but is no longer in body. But you do have two animals, two dogs, that were with you in past lives. We believe one was not a dog in that life as we look. It was actually a horse. Your newest dog that you have, the smallest one. This was one you had, was with you in a past life, was also a dog in a past life.
So
You carried her with you everywhere you went. Cody, we believe, is the larger dog, correct?
yes.
This is the one that was a horse. Just as people can decide to come back as an animal if they'd like. Most of them don't. But on occasion, someone will do it.
And then Pele?
Pele, this is the first time you have been with Pele. You believe that Pele has spent time as a healer, not as a person, but was a dog. And was helping with patients. This is back during to see which is World War I. Do you have a question about anything else?
I guess,
What are you asking about your dogs?
I feel like they're, I don't know, with my Reiki and a lot of things going on, I feel like they're there to help or to connect me more. And I feel like I'm missing something.
We do not believe you are missing anything. You are aware of this. Pele assists you. And helps with healing, both for you and others, when they are near. And we believe that Cody could actually be a service dog. Or may have been one as we look. But we believe it may be too late now for the training. But it is something that you could look into. We see you working with a service dog in the future. We do not believe it is Cody. We believe it is a new dog.
I guess I have one more question before the past lives. I'm going to start teaching. You know, I have a lot of mixed emotions about that. I'm having a hard time sometimes with it. I really feel like, I feel like this is the thing I'm supposed to be doing for this moment. But, I want my horses and I want where I feel like I need to be, and I feel like I'm going as, I say backwards, but it's really not. I don't know if there's anything you could say.
Again, is there a specific
I
question?
don't know if there's a question. I just feel like I'm sort of lost. I feel like I'm losing one and I'm putting one away, like throwing one away to do something. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know where the question is.
We
I'm
understand.
sorry.
We think we understand this. You are going through changes in your life. And oftentimes, when a big change takes place, there is a feeling of loss as well as excitement to see what's coming. think this is what you are experiencing,
Yes.
that you are worried about.
Losing the Reiki and losing my horses and losing that direction.
Yes, you will not lose anything. We laugh at Dianne when she worries that we will not come. Or we have seen her through the years think that she cannot give a reading to someone or connect with someone's loved one because she has not done it for a while. Oftentimes, a break is exactly what is needed to give yourself a time of rest, to allow that spiritual muscle to rest, to recuperate, and to heal. Your spirit guides will work with you during your sleep and during your waking hours. They will continue to fine-tune your abilities. And as long as you stay focused on what you want, as long as you never forget why it is you are doing what you are doing, as long as you know in your heart that you are a healer and that that is your calling. And keep that in your vision. Never lose hold of this ability. Never lose hold of your dream for your future. And we say that when you are happy at what you are doing, other things will come into your life. One of the best examples we can give is a rose bush. When you allow a rose bush to grow and you do not trim it, when you do not cut off the flowers, oftentimes it will stop producing flowers in the future. But when you trim and cut the roses correctly, the flowers will grow in multiple directions. Where there was one flower, there may be two, and then where there's two, in the future there may be 4 or 5. And this is the same with your work. So know that as you trim it right now, you are cutting back right now on those parts that are not serving your highest good at this moment. They have run their course and they may be fading a little. It is time to cut them. It is time to fertilize the ground with new knowledge. It is time to water, which is the same with your body. You need to allow yourself time to heal, time to work, and time to work with your body. You will continue to do healing, but it will be something that you will do when people need it where you are working. You will be able to expose many people to the knowledge that you have. There's often people who work in many places that have great spiritual knowledge, and what they are doing for their day-to-day job has nothing to do with it. But they are finding that it is best for them to act as a light, to shine their light, so that people who may have never thought of it before, you will find yourself talking about spiritual healing to people that may never have heard of it before, or may have heard of something but didn't really understand it. And this gives you an opportunity to help move the planet forward, to help expand the knowledge of everyone. Because when you tell one person, they will tell two people, and so on. Okay? You need to understand that this is a growth period. It is a resting period, and it is a growth period for your entire family. Your son will have to learn new ways of living. He will have to understand that you are working all day. He will come to appreciate the time he spends with you. You will find that at the beginning it may be hard for both of you, but it will get easier. We do not want you to give up.
I have planet questions, and then I have the past life questions of me.
Okay,
Where do you want to go first?
let's do the planet first.
Okay. I love animals to death. And I love our planet to death, and trees, and, you know,
She has much hair.
she does. She had a cut, though. It's pretty cute. But all of a sudden now they're shooting bears in Florida because, you know, there's too many of them, and they're coming into our, you know, subdivisions, and
It is actually us. It is actually humans that are
correct.
moving into their environment.
Well, you have people that are saying, well, where are we going to live?
Right.
And, you know, all by my house, like in, you know, up northern Orlando, they're going to build this whole shopping plaza and move out and build roads, and, you know, where there's trees and forests, and they're just,
Many animals.
and they're just taking down trees and, you know, not respecting anything. Like, it makes me sick to my stomach when I see, you know, new development. They just, like, bulldoze it down, and they don't even care. Is it gonna get better? Or are we gonna, like, have bears in museums and go, oh, that once was a bear? And I feel like sort of that's where it's going. Like, everything in a museum.
There was a time when the world was headed that way, but now it is not. There's an understanding, you're aware of that. That there are those who would not allow this to happen.
Okay, because I'm just, the whole bear thing and everything is just, overwhelming to me sometimes.
Yes. There are many who live in places where there are animals that are more of a predator. And they do not go in and eliminate the animal completely. And we believe that Florida can or needs to look at other places to see how they have done it, such as the area in Colorado and Wyoming. There are different places where people live alongside of the animals. They respect the animals. There needs to be areas that are untouched, safe havens, where no construction can be built.
Well, you have those safe havens, and then you have people in, Congress or people in government,
Yes.
and, it's all about money. And it was, safe, and all of a sudden it's not anymore. And that's just sad, how it's just, all about money and no one really thinks about it. Like the groundhogs, the turtles, they just go and bulldoze over it with tons of, on properties. It could be 500 turtles in the earth, and they don't seem to care.
Hmm.
They just bulldoze them and suffocate them because they want to build.
We understand that this has happened. But it is your choice to be the voice to try and stop what you see is unfair. You can become involved and speak out, give information to people, try and change laws. There are many ways that you can be involved if you feel a calling to do this. But if you don't really have a desire to become involved, but you just see it as something you don't think is fair, you don't think it should happen, what we would say, and this goes for most things, there are many things that are happening all over the world, that are happening in people's neighborhoods, that are happening on the other side of the world, that people get upset about, that they get angry about. And then there are others who do not get upset. It is not because they do not care. It is because they are not aware of the situation, because they have decided to look in a different direction. And there's nothing wrong with this. It is a choice. But what we would say is, if you feel feel that it needs to change, if it emotionally strikes a chord with you, something that you are thinking about all the time, or it brings great anger to you, or sadness, yes, then you need to decide. You either have to become involved and try and change it, which means you are walking toward that situation, or you need to decide that, yes, this is my stance on it, but I'm not going to be getting involved. I just don't necessarily agree, but I don't want to make this my life's mission. And in that case, rather than sitting and being angry, some people yell at televisions, at news. They allow their physical bodies to become affected by something that they also know that they are not going to do anything about. And it is our suggestion that people should learn to let it go. Not to pay attention to the things that you don't want to see. It is both the people who are hurting the bears or another animal, and it is that animal that has made a decision to allow that to happen. It is just like a human when they come into the world and have something that is negative or violent, hurtful, happen to them. It is both a situation where they have previously, before they come into this life, decided that this is going to happen, or once they got here, they decided it was going to happen. But either way, it is free will. And I know it is hard to believe that an animal has free will, but they do. And some of the animals choose to suffer so that the word can get out, so that people will see what is happening. And the people who want to get involved will get involved and will try and change things. But we just want everyone to know that allowing yourself to get emotionally upset over something that you are not going to physically act upon, or mentally act upon, or even spiritually act upon, then you should try to endeavor to avoid this information. There is so much information these days because there is a connection. The planet is connected and is open. Information is flowing everywhere, simultaneously. And there is much to get someone upset, but there is also much to make someone calm and happy. And we suggest focusing on that which makes you happy. And if you want to focus on something that makes you upset, then we suggest that you take action upon it and not just talk about it, not just worry about it. But action is needed.
I have 2 more questions about me and Evan going backwards. I'm sorry. Is that okay?
This is fine.
I'm sorry to do that.
We are here for you.
Thank you so much. Going back to his activities, would karate be a better outlet than gymnastics or skateboard?
We see that skateboard as something that he will enjoy doing without much training. Does not need professional training or class necessarily. If you'd like to put him in one for a short time, but then this is something he can enjoy on his own. Or you can take him to a park and enjoy it with him, watching him. But we do see that a martial arts would be good for him.
There's a jiu-jitsu by my house. I don't know how great that is, but
I would look and speak to the instructors.
okay.
I would watch classes and see how they interact with the other children.
Like I did before. Okay, I can do that.
But we feel that
And no gymnastics right now.
that would help him with the discipline.
Just right. Okay.
And it would also, the gymnastics is fine, but again, we see this as a similar type of thing as the skateboarding might be, or the even baseball you mentioned earlier. It's an idea of it is fine to explore and find out the rules of a game. It is fine to play it for a few months, but we do not see it long term. And we think gymnastics will even help him with a martial arts as well. But doing both is unnecessary.
Right, so that's why I was trying to narrow it down to
Yes.
like maybe 2, like soccer and then a martial arts or something.
Yes, we see that as something he would enjoy.
Okay.
Something that would be good for his temperament.
Yes. Oh, jeez. I didn't know I was gonna have that. My other thing is at school, I know I put some names down for who I'd like to be assistants with, like Miss Iris and Miss Tina, maybe Miss Jen, and maybe Chelsea. I know that's not staying in the pre-K realm, meaning 4 years old. I'm now going into different realms. Should I just trust maybe in the correct spot and they're gonna put me with the correct teacher? So I'm getting really a little nervous about this.
Yes, absolutely.
Just trust it.
You must trust that wherever you are being placed, it is for your benefit. It is for your experience. It is for the teacher's experience. And it is also, you are being placed where you can have the interaction that is needed with students as well.
So I just let it go. I need to let it go and not bring it up anymore.
Yes, whoever it is that you need to meet, you will meet.
Okay.
You may be there because you may help one person learn something about themselves.
Okay.
And that is enough.
But you don't see me long term doing this. Long term.
There are several things that are impacting your future at this time. And we cannot say because there are others involved. So the decision as to how long you will do this is based on how well you enjoy it. It is based on others in your life as to how long you will need to do it as well.
Okay.
Just take one day at a time,
I know.
one moment at a time.
I just don't want to I know that I have the healing stuff to do. I know everything.
This is what we speak of. You are aware that you do not have to have formal healing.
But I feel like I'm more with the animals, not the humans. I want to move my animals
We,
and healing them.
we understand that,
Yes,
but you also heal humans.
I do.
And there may be a student or even a teacher that you will see that needs help. Or you may discover that when you do Reiki or energy healing on certain students who seem to be causing problems, and possibly, that even though you will not say what you're doing, but you will discover that healing will occur. That your energy will produce healing. Your intention will help. So just keep your eyes open and remember that you are not only here for animals, but you are also here for people. And even if someone does not know that they are receiving healing, you can ask for their higher self to accept it. And you know this already, I believe. And they will, if they're meant to absorb it, they will. And it's something that will help you. You will pay attention to the reactions because children are often a little bit like animals sometimes.
Right.
They are instinctual. Especially the children that need healing,
Right.
that need it the most. And we believe that this will help you to understand even animals more. Because the animals sometimes are purely reacting a certain way because of the humans they interact with. So sometimes what you are needed to do is go in and heal the human who is taking care of an animal, as well as the animal.
And then I have a lady that about a barn. Should I keep going with my horses and maybe do that on the weekends for now?
That is what I believe we had suggested previously.
You did, but I just wanted to make sure that I heard correctly.
We remember.
So I guess past lives are next.
Okay. This is about your life, correct?
Yes.
We will be allowing someone else to come in and speak about this.
Okay.
So give us just a moment. Okay, we're ready?
Hi there.
Hi.
I have a couple questions about past lives, and it's, I've been experiencing quite a bit of them
Okay.
over the past summer and I guess a couple of years. When I go to a past life, I'm not really deep down into it. It's like I'm still above, like how Dianne describes it, and she's like, you're a little out there for, not typical retriever or past life.
This is the control. You do not like to lose control.
That's the control part?
Yes.
Okay.
You have had many lives where you have had no control.
Okay, sorry.
And in this life, you do not like to release control to others.
That makes sense.
It has affected every part of your life. It affects your relationships. We know you have specific questions as well. You need to, we know that, we hope we can answer this a little more for you. Is part of your question why you do not go deep?
Yes.
Yes, and we know control is the main reason. The only way that you will do it is to relax and trust. That is another area that you are working on in this lifetime, and you have worked on in many lifetimes. You have explored all aspects of trust, which means losing trust, having people do things that have caused you to lose all trust in humanity. So it's one of those things that you are exploring every lifetime. You are changing things up just slightly to try and see if you will be able to understand trusting people and the decisions they make. That sometimes you have to let people make a decision for you. This is something that you are learning through looking at your past lives. It is hard for you in this life to let others make decisions for you. Correct?
Yes.
Yes. You hold tightly. We see you with both fists clenched. This is because you have spent many lifetimes holding on for dear life, holding on and not wanting to let go, not wanting to be hurt, not wanting to understand what others are doing. You have to know, number one, that you have placed yourself in these lives to learn these things. And sometimes when you are in the life, you do not understand what it is you are working on. It is hard even to look back at a life often and see how it could possibly have been beneficial in any way, or any good or growth could have come from it. But we want you to know that, and everyone to know, that often when you pass into spirit, that is when you have an opportunity to look back at the life and to see it with different eyes, to feel the situation. And then that's when you decide to come back and maybe do things a little differently, because while you were here, you did not understand. And sometimes a lesson has to be repeated several times. The goal, of course, is to awaken while you are in a body, to become aware of the fact that you are holding so tightly, to become aware of what you are here to learn, to become aware of how you can make your life more pleasant, more comfortable, through the understanding of whatever it is you have come to learn. Awareness is so important. We know that you have had several past life regressions. Do you see what it is you believe that you have learned from any of them?
They all seem, not to have great father figures or mother figures sometimes. It's like the same pattern. And me getting brutally beaten or abandoned or no love in me on my own with like no other siblings. I don't know why I have chosen that. And am I just not getting it each lifetime and having to, I wouldn't.
But you did.
I know I did, and I don't.
And you did ask, and you did want.
And why, I know you say once you see your spirit and you learn, but why am I going through such an emotional cry about these now in this lifetime? And why did I get that in spirit? I don't understand those.
Because when you learn something in spirit, yes, it becomes part of your soul. It becomes part of your understanding. But you have to know that when you are completely, we have to say there are different levels when you enter the spirit world, when you come from a body. And once you are in full awareness there, that you are aware of everything, that you release even the need to understand, the need to know why. And then as you start to work on your next life, you start thinking about those things again. There are different levels of rest, of decisions that have to be made, of coming to grips with what has happened. But we know that part of this work no one can do for you. And it is not to be done in spirit. The reason people enter a body is to feel the emotion, to feel the emotions, to experience the journey, to have interactions with other people, to even to feel physical illness and to feel physical injury. We know that many would say, how could you learn from a broken arm? But you do.
But it feels like I just didn't, I kept redoing, I mean, things changed a little bit. They didn't change drastically, so am I not getting it?
You have to get it, like we've said, you need to get it while you're alive.
So have I not gotten it? Is that why I have to keep repeating this whole thing like 10
There is
lifetimes?
part of it that you have had to, you have not had to. It is your choice to repeat it. But we believe that as you go back and look at each one, and we think that a journal could help you with this, that if you would write down each lifetime that you are aware of, and some of the feelings and some of the experiences that you had, some of the circumstances of your life. Were you with many people? Were you with a few people? And we see that in most of your lives, you choose very small amounts of people to be with, to interact with. It is very rare that you interact with large numbers of people. So that is something to be written down, to notice. Do I like to have an effect on many, or what are you exploring? And it is not for us to give you all the answers as well. That would be stealing something from you. It would be taking something from you. We can share, as we did, what some of the lessons may be that you need to learn. But the learning of them, the acceptance of them, the understanding is something that only you can come to.
Well, I feel like in the one that, with the horse, and then I was put in the asylum or whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
I feel like I made myself stronger in the end and created my own reality at the very end. You know, I was stuck in a situation, and when I look back at that, I'm like, wow, I was proud of myself for coming into such a bad situation, and I was able to turn it around to a better reality. But that's not it.
But you must know that that reality was not real. It was in a dreamlike state, a meditative state, an out-of-body experience. It was.
And then also with Mark, it's like, why am I also, oh wow.
That's okay.
Also with the past lives, like, there's a lot of issues where he was the bad guy.
Do you notice that many things that you are exploring have to do with family, have to do with the bonds of family?
Well, I have all bad ones so far.
This is how you are looking at them. We are asking you to be more objective at first. Write them down and look at them objectively. Look at them from an analytical point of view. And then, including the emotions, feeling those emotions is important. Feeling the anger is important. The upset is important.
But then, like, what do we have to, you know, what are we learning on? Do you have,
I can...
I know you can't give it away.
No, but I could explain this. Oftentimes when you are feeling a certain way, it is to understand how someone else who feels that way is feeling. So a wife that is abused and manages to get out of the circumstance will sometimes in that same life turn around and help others who have gone through it, who are also being abused, will figure out how to make herself stronger and will take it upon herself to get involved, as we spoke earlier about. And what we see is that with some of your lives, it is the connection between three people. It is the interaction between child and parents. And most people are aware that every person has two parents, whether they know them or not. So there is that bond, there is that connection. And then many people, as they get older, will have children of their own, and then it becomes that bond. So it is in both directions. In your case, there's two different family bonds that you could look at. The dynamics of a family, the reasons why some decisions are made and children do not understand it. We see that many times you have been in the position of the child. And you have been in a child's point of view that was someone who felt a certain way. We are not going to take words from you. We want you to know how you're feeling. We do not want to tell you how you felt in those lives. But we think that if you look at that, if you go back and look, and then we suggest you look at this life and look at what it was like when you were growing up, and also what it is like for your son. We believe that you might see some things that will assist you. And it may not just be for your family, but this could be something that will help you with others as well. That will help you to be able to help other families, other children, to be able to grow in the way they need to. You have much left to this life. You do not need to understand it all immediately.
But I've been shown a lot.
We know. This is why we suggest writing it down. so that you will not lose these emotions that are so near the surface right now. They are so,
They're raw.
yes, they are so close that you are feeling them as if it is happening now. And we know that there will be times when this will be beneficial and it will help you. But you need to examine it. You need to examine all of them and examine this life and just look at it. You don't have to fix everything immediately. You don't have to have all the answers immediately. We want you to live your life, experience your life. And remember that when you are in certain circumstances, you may come across someone who maybe is being treated the way you were in one of those past lives, or someone who can help you understand it, or someone that you will need to help. It may be a parent, it may be a child, but we think that it's growth. Most of the time, helping others is a great way to help with karmic events, to help your spirit heal.
Okay.
You will get there. Do not be in such a rush. Do not believe that all of your past life regressions that you have done, if you do not act upon them or figure it out in the next year, that it is a waste that you even went through them. That is not true. It could be that 10, 20 years from now, something will happen and you will know immediately that that past life was connected. Or you will see what it is that you learned from that life and how you can help another.
Okay.
Okay?
Do you have any suggestions about me and my husband for the past lives, or learning from them, or anything that you could? Because that's just confusion in itself right there.
This is part of your it's part of the anger. It's part of the holding on. It's part of the not trusting. We see that you are at a moment where we are not allowed to tell you what is coming. We could never tell anyone specifically what is coming. But you are also aware that your life is at a major crossroads. That within the next 2 years or less, that you will make major strides in your understanding. And definitely within 5 years, your life will be dramatically different than it is now. And We do not say that this is because of any one particular reason. It is because you will grow. You will change. You cannot change others, only you can change.
Okay.
We have said before that he loves you. And this is something that we see, but he also has a great problem showing certain things. It gets very one-minded, very focused on one thing. And then does not like to be disturbed or taken away from that thought or that project that he is working on. Does that sound like him? We want you to realize that it is part of his personality to be like that. There are many people who love multitasking. They love doing many things at one time. And then there are those who do not like that, who like to just focus on one thing at a time. And there's nothing wrong with either one of those ways of looking at the world, of being in the world.
Well, I sort of feel like with me and him, I'm at the point where,
You know, you are at a very major point in your life. This is something that it is as if you are at a crossroads and you have two directions you can go in.
I feel like I'm okay with both.
That is your decision which way to go.
But you guys, you did say before, I will repeat again with him. I don't want to do that.
If you do not resolve certain things, if you do not say everything, if you do not work it out, and you can work it out, not to say that you can work it out either road you take. It does not mean that there is only one road to choose to be able to work out any karma that you have with him. Either direction can bring you that comfort, can bring you that release. It's just a matter of what you have decided. There are two ways to approach anything. There are more than two ways to approach anything. There are infinite ways.
Okay.
And you can accomplish this. We see that your inner strength is what is needed. Look at those other lives and think about that. Were you able to even use inner strength in those lives? And in what ways did you? In what ways did you trust? In what ways did you let go and let others be in control of decisions? And in this life, why is it possibly so important for you to make your own decisions instead of allowing others to make them for you? You need to trust yourself. You need to learn that you will make the right decision. You need to feel that inner strength that you have. And that you have much to give the world. You must believe that about yourself. We hear your note-taking.
I want to make sure I remember that.
Okay.
Um,
Would you like to know anything else about?
past lives.
Yes. Is there anything else?
Do I have any more to go through? Please not right now.
That, again, that is your choice. If you say, I do not want to look at them anymore.
I did say this, and then this came up again. So I do say it, but it just, it comes.
Yes. And again, you might say it, but you are not meaning it 100%. We believe you are still looking, even now. You are still looking. There is a life that you search for.
A happy one. That's the life I search for. Okay.
And it is there. You have them. It's just that for what you are going through with your life right now, the lives that you have remembered, brought forth, are the ones that can help you with the circumstance you're going through at this time and will go through in this life. Those are the ones that are intersecting with this life, either by karma or events that might have taken place in that life, or people that may have been there.
Well, this has to do with my husband. I don't know if we can. That's not really past, it's now.
Okay.
Sort of. But I feel like, I do live from the bottom of my heart, like, so strong. But I don't know if I can live with him anymore.
This is part of the two directions you have to choose. This is something that many have traveled this road.
But he's not going to change.
Not unless he wants to.
We had a really good conversation. I said there was no try, there was I will. You have a choice of I will or I will not. So you can jump on or jump off. And I'm okay with either one. I think he's scared too. I
think you will find. Go ahead.
go ahead.
think you will find that when you are at peace with either choice,
It'll come easier. The decision.
yes, and once you are aware, which you are becoming aware, that you will not make the wrong decision, that what ultimately happens is what you are needing and what he is needing and what your son is needing in this life. It may be hard. You may think you make the wrong decision after you've made it, but just know that you will not have made a wrong decision no matter which direction you choose.
But this is sort of like what you guys talk about. You have a bridge to go one way or the other way, and both ways can change your life.
Right. They will. Both ways will change. They will affect all three lives.
So if you go one way instead of going the other way, but sometimes it's not wrong. I mean, nothing's
It's not
really
wrong. What will happen is certain lessons may be delayed. You then may learn them at a different time. Major events may change slightly or in big ways. But who you are is always the same. It's just which journey you decide to go on. Which road are you going to take? Which direction? Who are you going to meet on that path? What obstacles will you come across? Or will the road be wide open with no obstacles at all? And when will it be open with no obstacles at all? Will that happen? Most people, that does not happen. But know that everything, every person you meet, every event that occurs, there is usually meaning somewhere there. Not necessarily every single event in your life, but many more than people know, many more than people realize. Because almost everything in your life affects your emotional life. It affects your spiritual life. It affects your mental life, and it affects your physical life. Every decision you make, what you eat, what you drink, which road you take to get to a certain location. That may be the mental side of it, deciding, I think that this line in the store might be shorter than that line. But then because you got into the shorter line, maybe you got out to your car faster. And maybe because you got out to your car faster, you backed out, and possibly someone else was there at the same time. But if you had gotten into the longer line, maybe you would have been delayed, and then you would have gone out. Maybe you wouldn't have had a problem in the parking lot. But it's possible that later in the evening, something else may have occurred. So you need to understand that regardless of which path, regardless of the decisions that are made, all the little decisions that are made, they all cause us to interact with different people at different times.
Right.
And some people you interact with, you aren't even aware that you're interacting with them. Because, as we said, you could be in your car backing out, and you may not see the person that is bringing their cart out to the car, and you may not hit them, but maybe you came close. And it's possible that because of that, that they got very upset, that they started yelling, that they start fighting with their spouse, that they start yelling at their children. And it could become a huge event in their life. And you did have a part in it, but you may never be aware of it. It is the knowledge that we are all connected. That is fine. We are all connected. Every slight thing that we do affects another and affects our life in the future.